And good Friday evening, Southeast Texas. We'll wait a few minutes before we dive into this for everybody to get on board here. But bottom line is that we've got a serious weather event that's going to strike Southeast Texas, and it looks like it's going to be a crippling ice storm. Still a little early to tell whether or not it's going to be as bad as 1997, if you remember that, and we're here in Southeast Texas at the time. But the deal is that this is not going to be as long-lived. It's not going to be 2 or 3 days of icing. In other words, I think it's going to be about 15 to 18 hours of icing, and then this is going to move off. But so we won't have any additional ice falling after about, say, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it's just cold temperatures Tuesday. Now, there's some areas by next Wednesday and Thursday that may have to deal with some freezing rain, sleet, and snow next week. I don't think it's going to happen here in the Triangle, but could change, okay? And the other issue is the cold. This is going to be the coldest in almost 40 years. I was let's see, in 83 I was 86, I was 18. So I was, 80, I was 13 years old when this hit back in 1983, where we got down to 15 degrees. That's what we're forecasting for Beaumont at this time. Could be 9, 10, 11 up in the lakes area. So that's a pretty serious cold air blast for Southeast Texas. So I think we've got everybody online, and we're going to go ahead and start this. But glad you're with us this evening on this very special Facebook Live. Wish we didn't have to do this, but we want to get everybody on board and get you updated as far as what we're expecting. So through the weekend, we're expecting temperatures just to get gradually colder. Now, there could be some light freezing rain tomorrow night up in the lakes area. We're talking Tyler, Jasper, Newton counties. I don't think it's going to be significant, though. Then President's Day, Monday. This is what unless something radically changes, from the model data that I have been watching over the last several days, it shows a crippling ice storm over Southeast Texas. This means icy roads. You're not going to be able to travel. It is going to be dangerous to travel. And this also means the potential for power outages. Then Tuesday morning, the coldest weather in almost 40 years. Technically, that would be, 38 years, okay? And we're talking temperatures 10 up in the lakes, maybe 15 in Beaumont, and that's going to keep the roads icy until we get above freezing. Hopefully, we get above freezing Tuesday. So you're probably not going to be driving around safely on President's Day that night and Tuesday morning. So there may be a couple days where you may not be able to get to anywhere you need to go. Otherwise, it's all about the 4 Ps. You've got tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday to get ready for this. That means pipes are a priority. In addition to people and pets, usually once you start getting down into the middle 20s, that's when we start having problems with houses with even on slabs, because you got pipes that go up into your attic. Those freeze, okay? This is going to be well below that. So also, we're not just talking about the plants that you take in and off your patio. These are bushes that are going to die if you don't protect them. If there's I don't know, some ornamental bush that you have in your front yard and you want to save it, you better at least wrap it and make sure it's ready to go. Otherwise, it's pipes. This is going to be a pipe busting scenario. So we've updated a few things. Crippling ice storm is what we're calling this. Why? Because once you start getting 1/3 to 1/2 inch of ice accumulation, that brings down branches, which fall on power lines, and you know what that means. So I expect many people to be out of power, unfortunately. And this will last from the wee hours, maybe, well, let's just go with Sunday, late Sunday night through midday, mid-afternoon, say Monday. So it may be pretty close to what we saw in 97, maybe not the top end because it's not going to last as long. But here's the latest high-resolution modeling. And again, this only came into use today because it only goes out several hours. These are not global models. This is high-resolution modeling. So you can see, you can start picking out individual areas. It looks like, unless something changes, northern sections of Newton County are going to see quite a significant icing versus maybe over towards Bridge City, Lesser, and down towards Sabine Pass even less. This is what is different from the global models. The global models have a higher or a lower resolution. They are not as fine-tuned, or as you can't see as fine individual signatures like, wow, that's some pretty impressive icing in the southern sections of Newton County. You can't do that with a global model, so they're not as, they can't pick out those kind of fine details. But all of them are showing icing, okay? So once you get out of the blue, that line of blue and purple or magenta is a ½ inch. So close to a ½ inch in Beaumont, maybe over towards Vidor and orange. Again, this is going to change. We've got, let's see, tonight, tomorrow night, which is Saturday night, and then Sunday night. So we're getting down to starting to see some things as far as how much we're going to see. So here's midnight. Why are they going to see more up in the lakes area? Because they've already started icing by midnight, and they've had icing going on for several hours. That's why these more of an impact up towards maybe the lakes area. So we'll put this into motion, but everything turns pink. And notice you could see individual fine details that you cannot see on global models. That's why these high resolution models are so much better. So it's all freezing rain and sleet through 6 a.m. It picks up in intensity as we head towards the morning hours. And then, unfortunately, this is only going to go out till midnight or till noon on Monday, but I think it'll be winding down by 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Yes, that's snow. It's not in the triangle, but I don't think it's going to be a happy time and be excited about it when you've got ice and no power. Okay? Otherwise, I love this graphic because it shows why this is going to be freezing rain, and why your app says snow, and why we think it's going to be freezing rain and not snow. Because we have a melting layer, a deep melting layer, and a very thin layer of freezing temperatures, maybe only 2,000 feet above the surface. And it is going to allow all that rain that is melted from the clouds to come down and accumulate over power lines, trees, cars, bridges, overpasses, everything. Now, as this begins to move out, we think that the thickness of this warm layer may decrease and the amount of cold air may become deeper. Instead of 2,000 feet, it may go to 5,000 feet. And that may be enough time to allow the drops, raindrops that are liquid, to become BBs of ice pellets called sleet. We're not counting on the snow here in the triangle. You may see that up in the lakes area, a few flakes before the system moves down out. But that's why we are going with what we're going with. And again, it is just going to get progressively colder. Monday, low of 29, maybe 34 in Beaumont. You may not be above freezing on Monday in, say, Cominil, Spurger, Jasper. So that means everything that's on the ground is ice is going to stick around probably until early Tuesday afternoon. Hopefully, we get above freezing. And with maybe the mid-30s up in the lakes area coming up Tuesday, not going to melt a lot. So this may be a couple days you're not going to go anywhere. When you're talking about historic cold of 9, 10, 11, 12 degrees, Burkeville, Newton, Jasper, Danby, probably Spurger, Cominil, Woodville. You get the idea. That's who I'm talking about, 9, 10, 11, 12 degrees. Then from south of there all the way to the Gulf, could see 13 to 17 degrees. It has not been that cold in southeast Texas since December 25th, 1983. And it's not far away from the 10 we set back in 1906. Records have been kept since 1901. Wind chills could be near single digits and teens coming up Monday with the freezing rain and sleet. Then we got the cold coming up on Tuesday. So far, no watches, no warnings, no advisories in effect for southeast Texas, except for Chambers, Liberty County, and Polk County. Will we be placed under an advisory or watch? Yes, I think so. When? Probably tomorrow. What do you think it's going to be? Winter weather advisory? Right now. Tonight, could be some patchy precipitation up in the lakes area. You're right around freezing. Yeah, okay, maybe a sprinkle, maybe some light drizzle or freezing drizzle. But tomorrow is going to be cold. We're not going to get above maybe the mid to upper, really the upper 30s in the lakes. And I'm going to be a generous guy tonight and go with 40 to the lower 40s in the lakes. So we're good for the most part, except for Saturday night. The lakes area will probably have a 20, maybe 30% probability of freezing drizzle or rain. Sunday, we'll go with 35 in Beaumont and 44 in the lakes area, or 44 in the as far as the high. That 20% goes to an 80% coverage coming up late Sunday night, and we begin a crippling ice storm. When I say crippling, I don't want to mince words. I want you to understand this is a serious scenario for us. This means power outages. This means you're not going anywhere. You are going to be stuck where you are. We may not get much above freezing. Hopefully we can get above freezing in Beaumont. I expect us to be out of here by 3 p.m. and then we set the stage. As we clear the skies, we fall to maybe 9, 10, 11 degrees up and towards Jasper and 15 degrees in Beaumont, maybe 17 in Port Arthur, 16, 15, possibly 14 in Orange, and hopefully above freezing on the afternoon. If not, then that means we got another scenario coming in on Wednesday. I'm sorry, I cannot go with freezing sleet or snow here in the Triangle as of yet. I do think it's going to be mainly north of the Triangle, a good chance of rain, a cold rain here in the Triangle, and then that goes bye-bye, and we stay cold with another hard freeze as we work on into Friday of next week as that sky finally clears. So Red Bar Day coming up on Monday, and really you could go a Red Bar Day on Tuesday because that is potentially damaging because of the ice and also because of the plumbing concerns coming up Tuesday. That's the very latest. Let's take questions. Zach.
We have one person asking, how does this compare to 1997 as far as duration goes?
It's not going to be as long. 97 was 2 to 3 days, if I'm remembering correctly. This is going to be 15 to maybe 18 hours that precipitation will fall coming up on Monday. So I don't think it's going to be quite as much icing.
Some people are asking, power outages, are they going to be worse the more north you go, most likely?
That all depends on where the best icing sets up. I was just showing you at the top of this, the icing product that we have the modeling here. The reason that it's going to be higher up towards the lakes area, I think we're all going to have similar amounts, what we call QPF, amounts of precipitation across the area. The problem is the ice is going to be occurring earlier than the Triangle. That's why you see more purple up that way. So yeah, there could be more power outages out that way, but you know, anywhere you have trees, anywhere close to power lines, that some of those branches could come down and bring the lines down. Plus you've got the weight of the ice that's going to be on those power lines that could bring those down too. So hopefully I answered that question correctly for you.
How early will things start to freeze over, most likely? Like Sunday night?
Yeah,
Monday
I think right now it looks like we may start getting freezing rain maybe towards, I'll go with 8 or 9 up in the lakes area Sunday evening. And then this is midnight here in the Triangle, 1, 2, 3, and it starts to turn over to ice, freezing rain. Okay? Any additional questions?
A lot of people are asking about Wednesday and Thursday as far as will those conditions be as bad as the Monday
Hard
storm?
to say. That I've been addressing most of my energy and concern as we approach this first system. From what I have seen, I haven't spent a lot of time on next Wednesday, but from what I've seen is that there's going to be another warm nose. You go back to that graphic. There's going to be another warm nose It's what we call it, a warm layer here in Beaumont. So I'm not thinking that it's either going to be rain. It may be all rain here in Beaumont coming up on Wednesday. But north of the triangle, yeah, freezing rain, sleet, and snow up that way.
I have someone asking about rainfall totals, I guess, for flooding concerns, or is it mainly the ice that's a concern?
The ice is the biggest concern. Flooding is a limited concern right now. How much ice are you going to get on your power line that goes from the pole to your house is what is my biggest concern right now. And if any trees come down or significant portions of trees come down because of the weight of the ice, that's what we're concerned about right now. And if there's, what kind of roads are going to be open coming up on Monday? Bridges and overpasses. You know how 69 ties into I-10 right there at that turn? That's all elevated. That's all got to be sanded. You may not be able to drive on that. Anything elevated in Beaumont, really in southeast Texas, any elevated structures, bridges, overpasses, that's what's going to be icing up first, Sunday night into Monday morning.